Hi there. Okay, so I've just decided my YouTube videos are just gonna be very raw from now on because Mel knocked some sense into me. So I'm listening to the Jay Shetty podcast on YouTube where Mel and Jay talk about anxiety and women and puberty. They go over a lot of stuff, and I highly recommend you listen to it. It's an hour and a half. It's like a movie in itself, but it's a good reminder of a lot of things. And one of those things for me is that I talk myself out of everything. And like many women, I suffer with perfectionism, and I have to do it perfectly. And so I have all these unfinished projects because I'm afraid to finish them, because I'm afraid to say, okay, well, I'm good enough to actually do something with it. And yeah, that's just my moment that I've realized this over and over in the last few months, and I feel ridiculous saying it out loud, like I'm admitting something, but I keep putting off writing, being an author, because there's no immediate reward. I have to put myself out there and be vulnerable. And since the start of this whole journey, I've wanted to write kids' books and adolescent books that mean something. Not just like, oh, there was a fly and it flew outside and I don't know. I want it to mean something for who they are as a person, how they develop. I want it to be something that they can look back to. Like, I can go back and read If You Give a Mouse a Cookie because that was my favorite book. But there were books that made an impact on who I am today, and those didn't come into my life until I was like a late teenager, when I started to realize things about myself. And I just wonder what the next generation would be like if they realized these things early on. What would they be like if it was normal to talk about vaginas and penises and being a part of a woman and a man, but also understanding that you can have one or the other and not fit in under the category as a woman or a man, and accept transgender, beliefs or embodiment in childhood. Because for me, I don't know where this is coming from, them talking about puberty, but this is just the example I'm using. So for me, I knew I was a woman. I never really had confusion, so I didn't understand when people didn't feel like they fit into the women category, which is so funny because I'm definitely a tomboy kind of girl. Anyways, I just enjoy being a girl. So when I've made my first friend when I was like almost 15, who brought up those ideas, I judged her and I didn't understand her at the time. Then 3 years later, I don't want to get the pronouns wrong, so I'm just going to go with unassuming they reached out and had transitioned so that they didn't feel that femininity. Okay, I'm letting that go. My point is, maybe we can raise the next generation to not just be complacent or indifferent, not bystanders. Like, everyone could be an activist. And then the people who are speaking the loudest, the meanest things, but that get away with it, like motherhood and teaching and bodies. Like, there's just I'm getting overwhelmed, so I'm starting to end my sentences. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about our bodies, about sexuality, about motherhood, about education and the government. And a lot of them are backed by opinions. And religion. A lot of them are backed by religion. So I think it's just important to recognize what is just a statement or an expectation in your world. And like, how do you turn that into your own superpower? Because for me, I didn't feel good enough about writing children's books because I don't fully accept my own body, because I struggle with the way that I was raised. Even though I love my parents, and again, listen to this episode, like, we're all gonna do something wrong as parents, and our parents probably did something wrong to mess us up. But we have all been a victim of something. And whether that's like abusive parenting or bankruptcy or just any kind of distress, we've all been a victim and we've all suffered problems. But what we do with them is who defines who we are. And I want to be defined as a writer. I don't want to keep applying for jobs half-heartedly, hoping I'm going to get some big position that just changes my life, because I want to change my life. I want to write, and that's going to take a long time. It's going to take years to actually build an income off of writing. So I do want to continue documenting my journey as an author and as a mother in this YouTube channel, but I feel like I'm just going to talk a lot less about like the negative things, because that's where my mindset has been. I've been reflecting on my adolescence when I was a teenager, and that's when all the dark thoughts started. And I have a lot to work on. I really do. I thought that a glow up journey could be short, and I thought if I put my mind to it and I just delved into my journals and recognized the dark patterns, it would be an easy way out. But it's not. I do have the map in front of me. I have these journals and these patterns, but I haven't changed the patterns. I'm still coping with recreational drugs like marijuana, occasional alcohol. When I do those things, it's not necessarily for fun. It's not like when we were, I don't know, 18, 21, going to bars. I never really had that experience, so that's probably why I don't have a healthy relationship with alcohol and drugs, because I did it to cope. It took a long time for me to learn how to do it recreationally, and while I feel like I know how to do it both ways, I depend on things like that. And it's not just alcohol or drugs. It's also like my mindset, my thought patterns has always been, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I shouldn't try. I shouldn't put my energy into this. Or if I do try, nothing's going to happen, because nothing ever happens. I get a degree in teaching and I leave teaching. Like, I beat myself up over my lack of commitment, but at the same time, I kept trying to do positions that I just wasn't made for. There are some people who love teaching, and I realized doing my children's videos that I don't love teaching. I guess that's the wrong way to phrase it. I love teaching and I love guiding, but I do not love the career of teaching. I don't want to spend my days teaching kids the alphabet and sounds and numbers. Like, sure, that's something I know how to do. I have experience in phonics and I've passed all my tests, whatever. But that's that's my point here, is I keep getting distracted thinking, like, once I have a consistent career, it'll be good enough. But maybe that's the wrong thing. I have always loved writing, and then I get really dark when I stop writing because I stop seeing the truth right there in front of me. So that's why I want to write. I want to show people that you can love and accept yourself from birth. You can love and accept your flaws and your family's flaws and everything about your existence. You can not like a situation and still be grateful for a situation. I may not like that I live in an apartment again, but I am hella grateful that I moved across the country and I have experienced everything that I have experienced because of me, because of who I am. So I'm learning to love myself, and I want to teach other people how to love themselves and how to love other people. And that's why I had this whole like business card of being a guru and an author. And then I just got distracted. I felt like I wasn't good enough and I wasn't going to make money fast enough. And you know what? I might not. There is a chance that I could burn us into the ground. I could bring us back to where I have brought us before. I think I cry in like half of my YouTube videos. It's terrible. There's a chance that I could put us really close to bankruptcy again if we hadn't sold our house when we did. That's why we had to move. It was too expensive in Flagstaff. I have to admit these things to myself and out loud, because even though it's really painful to admit that I spend way more money than I have, and I make shitty decisions, it doesn't mean I'm a shitty person. And I know that, but my mindset is not reflecting that. My mindset is telling me that everything I do is horrible, that I'm a terrible wife. Sorry, I heard something. That I'm a terrible mother, that I'm not doing anything good enough, I'm not being a good enough writer, because I'm not making any money, I'm just spending money. But here's the thing. I spent money on this book so that I could have a published work that I put my all into, that I gave it everything. It wouldn't be an unfinished project. It would be the whole damn shebang, which was my life, and that has been my process of acceptance. Now, I think we all need a process of acceptance, and I think that's through like an outlet like work or creativity, hobbies, things we enjoy, and that helps us see our acceptance. And for me, that's writing. So why am I still applying for jobs? Like, yes, I think I can make a change through companies, through the government, through education, but do I want to go that route? No, not really. Maybe if it were the right fit, if it still had me expressing who I am, if I would still be able to write. But I've realized that I'm not strong enough to connect with people who might not believe in me or the things I believe in. And a lot of that has to do with where I come from, being the black sheep of the family, not being Mormon, but being on the outside. think if my mom or my sister or brother or whatever saw this, like, they'd be like, what? You care? Because I don't look like I care. But it makes me so sad how many people in my family have been disowned or rejected in some way for who they are. And they have already seemed to grasp it themselves, but I'm sure there is still pain underneath. And that's why I have such a hard time with religion, because all of these judgments from other people, from strangers on the internet, they come backed by religion. But I believe so strongly in spirituality and connection. And I feel like I'm alone. Like, I don't have a church to go to, because it feels like I don't believe in the same God. And this hurts so much because I believe we are God. And I get laughed at. Yes, by strangers on the internet. I was raised with anti-cyberbullying, and I know what cyberbullying is, but it makes me so sad that it's out there for all of our children to just consume and for us to consume. Like, we should have Facebook groups, but 100% fully accepting Facebook groups. Because people like me, and especially in women, with perfectionism or whatever, or some sort of background they feel rejected by. Gosh, I hope I'm not gonna wake up my child. It's just hard. It's really hard to live in a world where it's so easy to be scammed, or to be rejected. But like, it's harder to find connection. It's harder to look up and smile and wave at someone on the street. It's harder to participate in a conversation in public when you're going out and getting a coffee than to just sit on your phone. And I'm just so conflicted, because I believe we're on the verge of this transformation where people are realizing, like, shit, we are all we have. The workforce is so wrong. Like, some people are out there doing what they want to do, and that could be just managing people. Some people love their jobs as a manager, or I don't know, what else did I do? I property manager was. Some people love their jobs, and I think that's beautiful, but most people don't seem to love their jobs. We all just work and go home, and that's exhausting. Like, I don't think I can do it anymore. And it makes me sad that other people have to. Anyways, long story short, I think we need to believe in ourselves. I'm back to the beginning. I have a different mindset than I had before, and I continue to keep growing this mindset. Just like I continue to grow more and more in love with my husband and in love with my life every day. So I'm excited to see my growth and be on the bridge, like Mel Robbins said. I'm excited to see the process of my glow up, my personal growth, to be able to teach others how to achieve that, so that in my lifetime, I can teach acceptance. Just overall human existence, acceptance. Because that's what I believe in. I believe in you, and I believe in me. And I believe in being 100% who you are, emotions and all. But I also believe in feedback. And I guess this is my end. This brings me to our conclusion. So if you have any feedback for how you think, or I guess how you personally shifted your own mindset, because I don't think you can really speak on my experience, just like I can't speak on yours. But how did you change things for yourself? What questions did you ask yourself to realize that you were focused on the wrong things? And how did you refocus? I got some boogies coming up, so don't judge me. That's who I am, and my pants are already covered with my son's boogers. I'm gonna go blow my nose. Anyways, another depressing episode for you. Peace out.